Good morning. How are you all? This is Mrs. Conlon. So you have 3 days to do this math review. Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that when you ran into a problem that you didn't understand, you went back in your notes and looked up how to do it, because we've really done all these problems this year. I know it's easy to go and ask a friend for the answer, or maybe Google how to do it, but I'm really hoping you went back in your notes and tried to figure this out. So I'm going to teach 11 problems at a time, right? 11, 11, and 10. I think there were 32 questions here. And I'm going to kind of quickly reteach as we go. I won't just plop down the answers. So I'm hoping this review clears away some cobwebs. And also, believe it or not, we're getting ready for 7th grade, so it'll get you ready for 7th grade. So remember, when we find the factor for A and B, the first thing we have to do is find the GCF. So the GCF of 27 and 81 is actually 27. So I am going to take out the 27 and then put the GCF there. And now remember, when you factor, that's the opposite of distributing. So I'm going to picture myself distributing back this 27. So 27 times x will give you the first term of 27x. And 27 times 3 gives you 81. And then the y gives you 81y. So if you remember that factoring is the opposite of distributing. So I could check my work by distributing this and making sure I get that. So I'm going to do B. I'm going to find the GCF. My GCF of 16 and 32 is 16. So I put the GCF there. Okay, so I'm going to picture myself distributing back 16. To get my first term of 16a, I just need an A. 16 times 2 gives me 32, and then I need my second B term. We did GCF much earlier in the year. So if you got the GCF wrong, you should probably go back to the earlier in the year lessons to review how to find the GCF. All right, let's go to number 2. When we do number 2, they tell you that we're finding P, right? I'm writing an equation and finding P. That means that P for pounds is alone. So I have to multiply 80 pounds of vegetation every day. Do you remember in class we did the don'ts, right? So remember we made this little don't or the little no column. I don't want to see P equals 80 times D, or P equals D 80, right? Or 80D equals P. This is really the only way they want it. Remember from here, we made an in and out table, then we graphed it. So this was just the beginning of translating that English to math. Okay, number 3. If I want the area, I'm just going to be doing the base times the height to get the area. So I'm going to do 4 2/7 times 14. This is review that you know how to find area and that you know how to multiply fractions. Okay, so if I change this to an improper fraction and that to an improper fraction, I could cross multiply first, and I get that the area is 60 feet squared. Okay, so there's a car wash going on, and they're charging different amounts for cars to get washed. And they're talking about, right, we did this recently. This is finding that missing piece of data. I hope you can tell as I'm teaching this that I am assuming you read all these problems and did these. That's why I'm not going back and rereading all of the problems. Okay, so if I have 8 cars and the mean is 14, I'm going to do 8 times 14 is 112. Then if I add all these numbers up, right, the amount that Danny earned so far, we have $92 so far. Okay, so if the average, if the total he collected is 112 and the average is 14, I'm going to do 112 minus the 92 he has so far, and that last missing number is $20. Okay, evaluations. So I am going to substitute in, I'm going to do it over here. A is 5 times B is -4 plus C is -11. So multiply those to get -20 combined with -11, and my final answer is -31. Okay, number 6 is translating English to math. Okay, so first I need 3 times the width, 3 times the width, and then I need 5 more than that, and that's my answer. I don't want 5 plus 3W. I don't want 3 times W plus 5, no equal sign. This is an expression. B, 6 times a number is 6 times a number, then I need 2 less than that. Okay, I'm going to number 11. I'll break it up. Okay, number 7. Okay, number 7, if you looked at the answer key was wrong, so this is one you should definitely watch. All right, so I really do have my 2 dogs and dog food. So I have 42 pounds of dog food. I'm gonna first feed 1 dog, right? So I'm gonna first feed 1 dog, right? But then I have to split that in half because I have 2 dogs. So I can't feed half a dog or half a day. So I'm going to say that I could feed my dogs 24 times. Okay, because don't forget, I'm double feeding them, and each dog received that much. All right, so number 8 goes back to very early in the year in the ebook. I'm going to do it this way. Do you remember doing this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember doing that? We have a total of 56 pieces of fruit. So if I divide 56 divided by 8, I'm going to get 7. Remember we had this on a test? So in my first group, I have 14, and in my second group, I have 42. Kids will say to me, do I simplify? If you simplify, you get 2 to 6, 2/6, and then that, or 1/3, right? So 1/3, that doesn't make the 2 groups of 14 to 42. Okay, number 9, I'm going to start with my formula. For a triangle, again, we're going back to review. This is my area. Sorry, my area is 747 is half, right, of 1.5 or 41.5 times my height. So I'm going to say 747 is, I'm going to multiply these 2 together, this times that, and I get that. And now to get my height alone, I'm going to divide. So this is really checking that you remember how to multiply this by a half, how to divide with a fraction. There was a lot of steps here. And my final answer for 9 was 36 feet. That was my height. Okay, number 10. I'm going to deal with my numbers first. So what if I zoom in there? Okay, I'm going to deal with my numbers first. 5 goes into 15. 5 goes into 25. 3 goes into 3. 3 goes into 12. I notice a negative times a positive. My final answer is going to be negative. I'm running out of room. What if I do it on this side? My final answer is going to be negative. Okay, now 4 times 5. My numerator is 20. 3 times 1, my denominator is 3. Let me double check that I cannot simplify that anymore. I can't simplify that anymore. All right, let's deal with my letters. All together on top, I have 2 X's, and on the bottom, I have 1 X. That leaves me with 1 X on the top. All together, I have 2 Y's on the bottom and 4 Y's on the top. That leaves me with 2 Y's on the top. Sorry, that got a little squishy. That's my final answer. Last one for this section is 11. Okay, so for number 11, I know there are 3 feet in a yard. So 5 times 3 is 15 plus the 2. This is going to be a total of 17 feet. So this one is larger. For this one, I know there are 2 pints in a quart. So 7 times 2 is 14 plus the 1 is 15. This is 15 pints. So this is equal. Again, I'm hoping that you did all of these honestly, and I'm going to do the other answers and post them another day. Signing off for now. Bye.